Oh yeah, it's time.
Welcome to the second list in the Smash Marathon. Today we're going to be looking at Smash's worst of the worst when it comes to stages. And today I'm joined by a special friend.
Hey guys, Ninjablue27.
Today, Ninjablue and I are taking a look at Smash's worst stages. At times, this series has had a really questionable lineup of stages, and today we're going to be going through the worst of the worst. There aren't really actually going to be any rules here. Most of the gameplay you're going to see is going to be from Ultimate. However, this is not a pure Ultimate list. If the stage isn't in Ultimate, it still is allowed on the list. So get out your controllers because we're about to hit start. Don't question why I'm using my grip, it's the closest thing I had to me and I'm lazy, okay? Okay.
Mario's a big series. There's so many games with so many levels. This gives Smash practically an entire encyclopedia of stages to choose from.
With stages like 3D Land, Paper Mario, Golden Plains, Mushroom Kingdom U, you name it. It's very hard to choose a wrong answer when it comes to this series.
So guess what Melee did? Bomb-On Battlefield, Womp's Fortress, Tick-Tock Clock, Hazy Maze Cave, Shifting Sandland, Nintendo, you had all these options, and you choose Rainbow Ride, the most hated stage in the game. Logic has left the chat.
Rainbow Cruise isn't the worst auto-scroller Smash has ever seen, but it's around there. Thankfully, Smash has gotten a lot better at this.
Back in my early years with Brawl, I remember loving the stage for some reason. Now I'm older, have slightly matured, emphasis on slightly, and I see now how much of an idiot I was.
For starters, the stage seems kinda rushed. I mean, yes, there are random platforms floating around in typical Mario 64 fashion, but it just doesn't feel right. Stages should feel connected. They should have some sense of flow, and Rainbow Cruise just has none of that. It's like they grabbed whatever they could find, threw it up in the air, and said, yes, this works.
Sometimes the layout feels kinda cramped too. For example, there's donut blocks right above those seesaw platforms that just don't give you any space to fight. Also, when you consider the nature of those blocks and how they'll fall after a while in every game they're in, it makes the stage even more claustrophobic. This also means that the sections that have donut blocks kinda take away your ability to fight there after a while. I don't like it when a stage takes away my ability to fight. No one does.
We also mentioned it's a scroller, but we didn't specify which type. There's a reason for that. Rainbow Cruise is both a horizontal scroller and a vertical scroller at the same time. On paper, this sounds pretty cool. It's not. It's just not. If you're not a mobile character, then good luck here. Rainbow Cruise will leave you in the dust if you don't have speed, a good recovery, or both. There's other scrollers that handle this much better, but again, Rainbow Cruise isn't a good scroller.
The stage also decides to just fade in and out of existence. Platforms in Brawl slowly appear and disappear as you scroll, and while it can look cool, there's problems with it. One, when you're fighting, a platform can just disappear on you and you have no shot of coming back. Two, you can be waiting on a platform to pop up and it just doesn't, making the stage even more tight. And three, Rainbow Ride didn't even do this. It's not like they're staying authentic or anything, it's just completely unnecessary. I wish I could still like this stage, I really do, but I can't.
And to think, this was once a tournament legal stage.
Wait, what?
Yep, it was.
My god, look at how far we've come.
Gen 6 was such a step up in Pokemon. This was the first gen in the series to go full 3D and it was stunning. Going from black to my old copy of X felt very, very odd. A good odd. So when I saw the Pokemon League in Smash 4, I got super excited. And then I played it. And it sucked.
The Kalos games were by far one of my favorite Pokemon games in general. But when it comes to stage they added in Smash 4, it could have used a bit of simplicity. There is stage hazards everywhere, from fire to water to steel to dragon, and all of them are a mess. In the fire section, there are 2 platforms supported by fire that can get rather annoying, but it's not too much of a problem. In the water section, the stage practically loses its ledge as platforms are added to the sides. Later, a wave comes by and it whiskles you away at a moment's notice. It's tolerable, but still pretty bad. The steel section has swords coming from the sides that can be really annoying, and a pool of metal. A pool of metal. Why is there a pool of metal? This metal turns you into metal, honestly, and sometimes you can hardly see it. This causes some really bad, unnecessary situations. And lastly, the dragon section. A dragon's in the background and it fires little walls of fire. It's actually the only good phase of the stage.
So, doesn't seem that bad. Why is it on here then? You see, the hazards are tolerable, but you know what isn't tolerable? Multiplying them by 50. Enter the legendary Pokemon. On a rare chance, one legendary Pokemon will be in the background to take some already iffy stage hazard and give it some steroids. Like, a lot of steroids. In the fire section, if Ho-Oh is there, the fire columns double in height and fire rises from the bottom on both sides. This is practically unbearable because there's just no space to fight at all. In the water section, if Manaphy is there, a huge vortex takes up practically the entire stage. In the steel section, if Registeel is there, the swords spin around in midair like Beyblades on crack. I don't even need to explain why this is an issue. And in the dragon section, if Rayquaza is there, he'll let you know he's there by flying around all over the place. These guys double boost the painfulness of an already painful stage.
Again, if you're not a mobile character, maybe just pick Pokemon Stadium. The design of the stage, however, isn't bad at all, with the Pokemon in the background and the signatures of the Elite Four in the stage. It's a bad stage to play on, but not a bad one to look at, however. That's why it's only number 9 on the list.
Want a good Kalos stage? Just play Prism Tower. What a shame, this could have rivaled Pokemon Stadium.
If you haven't already noticed, we don't like boatloads of stage hazards.
Norfair. Despite having fair in its name, the lava hazards don't really implement that into the game. Even more unfair is that stupid bunker that's impossible to get into. Why does it only work for my enemy?
Let's get into the lava and give Ninjablue a moment to himself.
Norfair is filled with tons and tons of lava and none of it is enjoyable. These hazards consist of the stage sinking into this lava in typical Brinstar fashion, sprays of lava shooting out from the background, massive annoying lava walls coming out from the sides, and when Norfair really hates you, covering the entire stage, yes, the entire stage, in lava.
The entire stage is covered in lava. This part does spawn a little bunker to save yourself from the tidal wave destruction, but it's super hard to get into and you have to fight for it. It doesn't help that everyone in the entire battle is likely fighting for this one spot, and it creates chaos that's nowhere near controlled. What's more, if you get by this lava, it deals a truckload of damage.
Brinstar works because it has one similar hazard similar to Norfair's main gimmick, but it's controlled and not obnoxious. I love stages that have one simple hazard that doesn't really get in the way of anything. Brinstar does this perfectly. Norfair is the exact opposite.
Norfair could be a good stage if the hazards either were less powerful or showed up a lot less frequently. But unfortunately, that just isn't the case.
Oh yeah, we've hit our first large stage. These stages are kinda hated within the community. Not every single one is terrible, but there's a select few. Those select few are almost entirely hated. No one's an advocate for any large stage out there, except for maybe Temple, but I'm here and I'm gonna say it. New Pork City isn't as bad as people say it is.
Funny enough, this is one of the better large stages. Newport City isn't a terrible stage, really. It's just really, really disappointing.
Newport City is a really odd one because the stage layout is actually really good. The stage is nice, spread out, proportioned well, and has some really good spots to fight. The only design choice I'd recommend is to bring the top blast zone down a little bit, but that's pretty much it. In terms of design, for a large stage, they nailed it.
We've been giving so much love to the stage right now, with all of its good design. So why is it up here? Newport City has one major hazard that completely kills everything the stage does well. The ultimate Chimera. This one demon of a stage hazard randomly pops up around the stage. If anyone touches it, boom, insta-kill, dead.
There's many problems that come with this. Remember how the layout was really good? This is mainly in the upper half of the stage. This is where the ultimate Chimera usually pops up. This forces you to go down into the worst designed bottom half. It's stage spike galore down there, however there's a flat little bridge that you can use to fight on. That's nice. One slight problem. This bridge breaks. That's right, your only cover from the ultimate Chimera can break. Great, perfect, exactly what I wanted.
What makes the stage so disappointing is that this could have been the best large stage in the series. Its potential and good design are why it's this low. What's with all these disappointing stages?
Believe us when we say this though, this is not the last large stage you're gonna see.
Oh yeah. What did we just say?
Yep, another large stage. Oh man, this is a stage.
Palutena's Temple is another large stage and a painful one at that. Why? Look at this. Just look at this. This is just terrible. Completely contrary to Newport City, Palutena's Temple is a very terribly designed stage that luckily doesn't have any painful stage hazards. Saying that's a good thing though is like saying candy is good for you because it doesn't kill you.
The problem is that it's just so big. This stage could easily have been split into 4 parts and could work as 4 different stages. There's just so much and it's just too much to handle. There's some playable but sure, but the map's so big that it takes decades just to reach your opponent and fight them. And because of this gigantic size, the screen can zoom out so much that the character is barely visible. It's just not fun.
On top of all of this, the stage is pretty rushed too. There's random springs that are randomly placed on the map that just have no purpose. Unlike, say, Gower Plain, these springs aren't even redesigned for the stage's aesthetic. They're just there. They're just lazily put there. Why on earth do we have a stage so freaking big that we have to add springs just to navigate it? Even worse, most of the time you land on these by accident, which completely ruins any offense. Oh, I'm gonna combo you, so whoop, there I go into the stratosphere. Good God, they send you flying.
The only saving grace is that the Palutena's Garden's Easter eggs occurs on the stage. But is it really worth it?
All I know is that there's a much better temple you can be playing on in this game. Don't go here. Just don't. Smash has always had a problem of taking classic games and turning them into crappy Smash Bros. Stages.
What sucks about these is that a lot of them are filled with potential and it just gets completely thrown away. These could have been good stages, but they always just wind up like trash. Case in point, 75M.
Oh man, this one's a mess. Why did this return in 4, and why did it return again in Ultimate? It sucks, period.
You know you have a good list when 75M isn't top 3. Brawl's Beyond Ugly Baby just keeps coming back and back to the point where I feel it's been immortalized in Smash. And that is nowhere near a good thing.
There's many things wrong with 75M. Can we start with how unorganized it is? 75M is filled with many tiny and small little platforms that have zero space to fight. What makes these even worse is a good amount of the platforms have hazards that take up a ton of space, and almost all of the platforms have ladders. Ladders suck because you can unintentionally grab onto them and completely drop any good combos you have.
Yeah, the bottom section sucks. But at least you have the top half, right? You have a nice, long, flat platform. One problem. On random occasion, DK at the top just randomly gets mad and starts chucking hazards across the platform. Not only does this render the only good part of the stage useless, but not even the bottom half is safe, as that half gets pounded too. It's terrible.
25M would have been a much better choice. Not only is the level far more iconic, but it's also designed much better for a game like Smash. Can we please just have some good classic stages? Nostalgia can really be a double-edged sword, I swear to God.
Yeah, celebrating the past too much can seriously hurt you. And to think that this isn't even the worst classic stage on the list. Smash Ultimate added so many stages that sometimes I forget everyone is here doesn't actually apply to stages.
They brought all but 15 stages back, and I actually made a video on those 15 stages before my YouTube days, but why didn't they just throw them all in? 15 extra stages wouldn't hurt. Oh no. Behold, the only stage on the list that didn't make Ultimate's cut. Rumble Falls is one of 2 vertical scrollers in Smash, and man does it suck.
There's a reason it's the last vertical scroller we've ever seen. When a stage kills a genre of stages from how bad it is, you have a really, really bad stage. As previously mentioned, Rumble Falls is a vertically scrolling stage. Normally this wouldn't be too bad, but Rumble Falls just screws everything up.
Rumble Falls is a victim of bad stage design. Not only is the stage super cramped, but some of the hazards are just unbearable. That one stupid spike at the beginning is just so dumb. It may not be an insta-kill, but most of the time it is. You're just jumping up trying not to die because of the fact Rumble Falls is a vertical scroller, and then you get hit by some thing. You never see it until you get hit by it, and next thing you know you're dead. It's so dumb.
Let's get into the stage design and give Flying Boy a moment to himself. We're both losing it to this list, aren't we?
As previously mentioned, Rumble Falls is an extremely cramped stage. Not only is this an issue for a vertical scroller, but it hurts even more when you combine it with hazards and 2 very, very painful words. Speed up.
Yeah, they thought it would be a good idea to have a vertical scroller speed up the scrolling speed. This is the worst because having a cramped stage combined with the camera moving at the speed of Sonic times 10 just sucks. I die so many times due to getting stuck under one tiny little thing and the blast zone then catching me from the terrible scrolling. It hurts my soul.
A cramped vertical scroller that speeds up the scrolling speed. This one's bad. It's a really good thing Rumble Falls hasn't seen the light of day since Brawl.
Well, we're done with that scroller. Let's just look at the list and come on!
We're never escaping these, aren't we? Pac-Land is the classical stage scroller that is somehow worse than Rumble Falls. Rumble Falls doesn't have too many hazards, but they can be pretty annoying. Pac-Land, on the other hand, has tons of hazards. Brutal wind boxes from fire hydrants, geysers of water, forests that block your view, temporary platforms, you name it, Pac-Land will take it.
Pac-Land has a pretty big problem design-wise too. The stage is designed in a weird way where the upper blast zone is very, very low. This makes it really easy to get some really dumb, cheesy kills that you really can't get on other stages. It also doesn't help that the stage can scroll almost as fast, if not even faster than Rumble Falls. It never explicitly says that, but it does. Oh, it does.
The scrolling at times gradually speeds up and up to the point where you better have a good run speed or you're dead. It's slightly more tolerable with Rumble Falls because you can prepare for this and there's not quite as much to deal with. That's not the case at all with Pac-Land. Out of the blue, you're just going fast and dealing with hazards.
Pac-Land's saving grace is that the art style is actually pretty cool. I like the original cool feel of the stage, and it makes the stage 1/80th better. I'll just be sitting here trying to figure out why this was chosen over Pac-Maze, though. There are some pretty powerful quotes out there. Quotes are amazing because the right ones can teach us how to live our lives. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. It always seems impossible until it's done. And the most important one, Albert Einstein once said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, Einstein was right.
Unlike Rumble Falls, Mario Bros. Has come back from Brawl to Ultimate to see the light of day again. Why? Yet another classic stage, and this one sucks a lot.
We'll start off with these platforms. Dear God, these platforms. There are two major problems with these platforms. One, there are so many of them. I've never been big into having many platforms, and I've never liked playing on Battlefield. This wouldn't be too bad though if it weren't for the second reason. Unlike Battlefield, you can't jump through them. Not only does this make Mario Bros. One of the tightest stages in the series, but you get hammered with vulnerability if you jump into them. They're a nightmare to deal with.
What makes these platforms even worse is that Mario Bros. Randomly spawns shells, creepers, and sidesteppers. These take an already terrible stage and make it unbearable. Not only are these a pain to deal with because how fast they can move, but these enemies can also be weapons. You can take them down, pick them up, and use them as items. This wouldn't be so much of a problem if they weren't so good. These guys went through not only deal a truckload of damage, but also have a ridiculous knockback. With all the platforms around too, you're constantly bouncing around if you don't know how to tech, and it's super annoying. What's more, these guys can rapidly spawn and cover huge chunks of the stage.
Mario Bros. Would have absolutely been number one if it weren't for the changes Ultimate made. In its Ultimate version, the stage got a balloon fight remodel. Like the balloon fight stage, you can go through the blast zone and onto the other side of the stage. This makes Mario Bros. Slightly more tolerable and saves it from number one. Congrats Ultimate, you saved this one. One pat on the back.
But before we get into the top pick, here are a few honorable mentions, starting with Icicle Mountain.
In Rumble Falls, we mentioned that there have been 2 vertical scrollers in Smash. This was the second. Icicle Mountain is not only a terrible scroller, but it also is ice physics. Great. Having a stage where you need mobility that has notorious physics that cut mobility is the very opposite of a good idea. What takes it off the list though is that unlike most other stages mentioned, it doesn't have any painful hazards, which helps it as a scroller. Still bad though. Pass.
Up next, we have Jungle Japes.
Jungle Gapes surprisingly has some things going for it. Not only is the environment cool, but the stage layout is also surprisingly good. Having 2 branching platforms off of a main one is really nice. But that's where the good ends. Jungle Japes has one painful hazard, the stupid river. This thing is flowing at the speed of sound and will whisk you away in an instant. This just sucks because this punishes you for going off stage and almost having no chance of coming back if you find yourself in there. Luckily for Jungle Japes though, this hazard wasn't quite bad enough to land it on the list.
And finally, we have Venom.
Venom is an interesting case. What makes it weird is that there actually really aren't any hazards that kill the stage. This is actually what took it off the list. Venom sucks though because of how terrible the layout is. Because of this long platform down the middle, it's super long and most characters have to double jump to get over it. It really sucks and it's just terrible design. Fortunately, its lack of terrible hazards saved it.
And now, on to the number 1.
By now, you might know what exactly we hate in Smash stages. We hate stages that are super cramped and tight. We hate stages that are super big. We hate stages with a terrible layout. And we hate stages with terrible hazards. While everything on the list has one of these, none have had all.
But only one can call itself the very embodiment of everything wrong in stage design. Only one can put all of these negatives in one singular Smash stage. Only one can truly be this bad, and only one can be the Great Cave Offensive.
Here it is, the lowest of the low. The Great Cave Offensive is without a doubt the worst stage Super Smash Bros. Has ever seen. With a mention of a ton of ways that a stage can suck on the list, as mentioned earlier, the Great Cave Offensive follows through on basically all of them.
But doesn't an image say 1,000 words? I think it does. Why? Look at this. Just look at it. 3 huge problems right off the bat. 1, the Great Cave Offensive is gigantic. Not only that, but there's no offstage at all, and for its size, you have virtually nothing to work with. The Great Cave Offensive is somehow a gigantic stage and a cramped and small one all at the same time. It's like they tried their hardest for this stage to be as bad as it possibly could. This leads into reason number 2. Despite being a gigantic stage, it's super cramped. All of the fighting space is either on the top of the map or in the cave. Here's the problem. The cave is super tight. For being as huge as it is, there's almost no space to fight. This is mainly because of reason number 3. It's dumb hazards.
The Great Cave Offensive has lava all over the stage. This takes a tight section of the stage and puts hazards on it to make it even worse. It's just terrible to deal with. To make this worse, there's cannons that are laying around the stage. It's super easy to get into these cannons and shoot yourself into dangerous areas because of how jarring it can be. Everything is getting thrown at you and it's beyond painful.
But what puts the Great Cave Offensive at number 1 is the lava's gimmick. Because the stage is so huge, so tight, and so wide, if you touch the lava at over 100%, it insta-kills you. That's right, this stage is so bad that they had to add an artificial way to die. That's the number 1 rule on how to make a stage unplayable. You make the layout near impossible for people to die.
At least they let me commit suicide here. That's a plus. Never go here. Never.
So with that, it's Flying Boy, and a huge thanks to Ninjablue for co-hosting this video. You'll find a link to his channel in the description below and in the end card, and I'll see you next time for top 10 items. And no, I didn't forget Hannibal. Goodbye!